What's up, guys? Gecko here, and I am here with a special guest today. My good friend Pharaoh is here with me as well.
What's up?
Hey, Pharaoh, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm very excited to look at the leaked decks.
I am
I
very
have,
excited on your behalf.
thank you. I've gone so back and forth on doing this, but at this point, it sounds more fun to just see them. I have seen some of these. I've seen the starter leaks because I always want to know the starters because it can affect my choice. But it would still be fun to give our thoughts on them anyway. So Sprigatito, I usually pick the grass starter in most games. Sprigatito, I was more on the Fuecoco side, obviously, because it's a crocodile. But I have to say, Florigato is a top tier design. I actually love Florigato.
I think that Florigato might be my favorite of the line. I'm not entirely sure. I think I need to see it in motion, considering that it seems to be utilizing what appears to be a floral yo-yo. I would want to see
Mm-hmm.
it in action, but
Yeah,
it very well has the possibility of being pretty darn cool.
I hate the evolution. I hate Meowscarada.
It
It makes
is.
me so sad because it's like Florigato's so cool, and then they just ruined it.
So I am a fan of jesters and harlequins. So like I like the concept, but I will once again need to see it in action before I pass final judgments. However, I think it is my least favorite of the starters full evolutions at this point.
I hate, you know what I hate? It has like furry bait fuck me eyes. That's what it is. Like the expression is just not okay with me. It's uncomfortable.
It has a yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, okay, we'll move on. I don't know how to feel about Crocolore because I feel like they just put a hat on Fuecoco. Like the design is almost the same.
When I first saw its images, I didn't think that it was real because I thought this was a little bit too silly. But
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of weirdly attracted to the silliness of it at this point, and I can't quite figure out why that is. I think I just like derpy Pokemon sometimes, and there's something about him that I don't quite mind, but it does look a little too similar to Fuecoco for my liking.
I actually am very curious to see this thing terastalize because they gain a hat when they terastalize, and it's going to be like a hat on top of a hat.
Very true.
And then Skeledirge is an interesting one. There are things I really like about it. Obviously, it's a crocodile. I like that it's quadrupedal. But the geometricness is kind of weird, and the way they did the fire is weird to me. It's not very wispy. It's kind of like poofy. But
Yeah,
this is probably one like you were saying, where like once I actually see how it moves, I might kind of warm up to it.
and I think I agree with that. Considering that it is, and maybe this is a bit of a spoiler, the singer Pokemon, I am very curious
Mm.
to see how it just moves and bellows. But yeah, it is a little bit strange in terms of design. I'm not a huge fan of the, shall I say, Chrome Dome, especially because
Yeah,
it was just hatted in the last form, so it's just a very
true.
strange transition. Yeah, I think overall Skeledirge might be my favorite of the starter evolutions. Whether or not I'll use it is another story, but we'll see.
Quaxley was the sleeper line for me at least because like
Mhm.
I forgot this Pokemon existed as soon as they announced him. I'm like, I'm going Fuecoco. I love it. I'm gonna forget about the other starters.
Mhm.
But there's something about Quaquaval that just works for me. I don't know what it is. Like Quaxwell, I'm kind of iffy on, but Quaquaval is very
Yeah.
cool.
I think Quaxwell is definitely like an awkward middle stage starter, like a quintessential
Yeah.
one. It joins the ranks of like Prinplup to me in terms of
Yeah.
just being there.
But okay, so let's move to the next slide, which looks like we're in totally new territory for me here. Wattrel, it looks like the regional bird. We have a regional bird that is not normal flying. That's very cool. Like
Yes,
just
I
right off the
agree.
bat, electric. Oh, I really like Kilo Wattrel. It has a
I
very
like
hawk like face shape, which I appreciate.
it does. Yeah, I actually like both of them quite a bit. I think that they're actually pretty well designed. I can't say what I like about them per se, but I don't know. They're just solid Pokemon.
Yeah. These are cute. I like these. Nimble is our bug. I am struggling to figure out what it is. I mean, it's kind of cricket like. I
Yes, I
don't know
believe
what the things on its back are.
I assume those are supposed to be its noise making organs, but I don't quite know. I think it's a grasshopper Pokemon.
The evolution low kicks. Oh, it has, they turn into like almost chainsaws on its back.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
quite
wild.
Yeah, quite a development.
I like it.
I do think that Mega Scizor kind of looks like it has chainsaws in a way too, though. So I'm like,
True.
question mark. But I like Nimble. I'm not as big a fan of low kicks, and maybe that's, I don't know. They both feel kind of geometric to me, which is not bad. Sometimes I very much like geometric, as I've discussed with you in off camera. I don't know. It feels just a little bit too armored for me, which is, that makes sense considering that bugs have exoskeletons. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it I'm not as big a fan of, but it's okay.
Squawkabilly. Oh my gosh, dude. This is
Yeah.
wild. Which we could kind of tell from the mini map in the trailer, like that's what it looked like. But
Right.
that is what it is.
Indeed. I am curious how this Pokemon will distinguish itself from Chatot.
I do like that it comes in different colors. That's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Oinkalone?
Oinkalone?
Is it supposed to sound like cologne?
I assume so, but I don't quite know.
It has like two different forms. I'm not sure if they're gender differences or...
They are indeed gender differences.
They are, okay. Do you know
I
which
believe
is which?
the one on the left is the female and the one on the right is the male.
I actually appreciate that I can't tell by just looking, because they didn't go like some stereotypical like pink and feminine route with the female one.
Right. I think the main identifiers are that the female evolution's eye markings look a little bit more like mascara, but...
Oh, yeah, true. It's not what I was expecting. So, like, people were talking about Lechonk kind of reminds me of a truffle pig. Like, maybe there will be mushroom theming. And then other people were like, maybe it'll... Or I was kind of thinking, like, maybe it'll become more like a boar and have tusks or something. Or like
that's what I was expecting as well.
Yeah. They're kind of just pigs.
Yeah, which I think that I'm weirdly okay with.
Oh, look at you. Tarantula?
Tarantula.
It's cute. I like this. This is adorable. It's just a little yarn ball spider.
It is.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Very
and
good.
Spidops is the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of Spidops as I am of Tarantula. I will confess right now.
Yeah, I don't know about this design.
But it's its proportions are just a bit strange to me. I'm not a huge fan of the design myself.
Yeah. I want to see how this one moves, because the way it's posed in this model, it's like it's standing upright, but it doesn't have legs to stand on. Like, I don't know. I need to see how this thing actually moves around. Okay, so Pawmi has a full line here. I did not expect that.
Neither did I.
Because I'm trying to remember, I don't think any of the Pika clones have ever had evolutions.
No, they haven't.
Pawmo, it kind of just stands up. It's still cute though. I kind of like it more than Pawmi with how derpy it looks. Like its arms are kind of just dangling there. Its big chunky arms.
Yeah.
It's cute. And then Pawmot. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the head here. It's got like, I guess it's just ears and hair. It looked weird for some reason. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
The yellow is, I think, just text like taken from a screenshot of the Pokedex.
That makes so much more sense. Yeah, there's not much of a change from Pawmo to Pawmot, so I don't know how I feel about that evolution.
I don't think that it's a necessary one. I'm fine with the change of having the Pika clone having an evolution. That's kind of nice to me. I like Pawmo better than I like Pawmot's proportions myself. So I would probably, X Pawmot from being and add the fighting type to Pawmo.
I do like that it gets fighting type. I'm not sure how fighting it really looks like. I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
But the idea of this thing punching you is very funny. All right, let's see what Smoliv becomes. Okay, yep, it does go the route of like, I don't know what's up with grass types turning into just like grass women for like
I don't know either.
Gens. But here we are. Dolliv. Okay, I have to give props for the name. The name is very clever. I'm not super into the design, but like it's not my thing personally. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my aesthetic. The evolution is really interesting. We don't have a name yet.
I believe it's Arboliva. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I guess it didn't fully go the route I thought it was going to, because this one looks less humanoid to me than Dolliv does.
which I actually really appreciate.
Same.
When I saw Doll Live, which I did see first, I saw at the same time that that Crocolore was leaked. I was not the biggest fan. I didn't think that it turned nearly as humanoid as I thought it was going to. It's still humanoid, mind you, but I actually really have come to appreciate Arboliva a lot more. And at least it feels like unique Pokemon to me.
Yeah, it's very unique. I really like the big like leaf arm type things. It's very cool. Okay, now the next one is very interesting because I did not think this was a Pokemon. Like,
Yeah, I remember us talking about that a long time ago.
yeah, like it showed up on the map and people are like, is that a Pokemon? I'm like, that's a house, bro. Like, what?
Yeah.
That is not
I mean,
a Pokemon.
it does look like a house. I mean, you could say that the salt crystal on the top is a chimney. However, we have got our first rock salt Pokemon.
Oh, that's what it's supposed to be. Oh, interesting. Oh, the name. Oh my gosh, dude. I just
Yeah,
got
you get it. You get it.
That's clever. I'll give him props for that. Okay, so this one I definitely need to see the animations for this thing because I can't fathom how this moves around.
Right. I agree.
I also cannot get out of my head that it's a Mario mushroom. Like it looks like a
I know.
power-up mushroom.
It's
Which
I imagine it's going to be very similar to Pharaoh Seed in that they just do not move on the overworld for the most part.
true.
But
Yeah.
as it evolves, perhaps it will gain a little bit more autonomy.
So we go from Mario Mushroom to Minecraft Monster. Like
Yes.
this is just Minecraft. Even
like
the face.
straight up ripped. Yeah,
Yeah.
even the face, like exactly the eyes going exactly to the sides of the head. Like it is perfectly fitting with Mojang's game.
This is wild. I don't know how to feel about this because like on one hand I'm a meme lord who's like yes put Minecraft in Pokemon but also like this does not look like a Pokemon like what is going on it even has another evolution.
It does Garganacle or Garganacle. I don't know how it's pronounced.
This one is less Minecrafty but it still has the vibes.
Sure,
It's still pretty Minecrafty.
it is.
Also it's like Minecraft meets Shadow of the Colossus. That's what it's making me think of.
Ooh, you're making me want to use it even more.
Oh, were you planning to use this one?
I am actually. I actually quite like Garganacle, and I think I just tend to like hulking Colossus-esque monsters.
Yeah.
And Pokemon for that matter. So Garganacle is probably going to be on my team.
Solid. That's really cool. I don't know how to feel about it yet. I kind of need to
Sure.
see it closer because this shot is very hard to see any kind of like face or features.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this one, I'll have to table this one. I don't know how I feel about this. Fido. Oh, this is interesting. This is not what I was expecting for the evolution if it had one. Oh,
What were you
okay.
expecting, if I may ask?
Well, I was actually expecting that it didn't evolve, but
Okay.
I guess like I expected it to be. Actually, I don't know. I don't really know what I expected. I thought it would look more bready at least.
Okay. Sure.
Darkspun. Oh my gosh, dude, they are killing it with the names this generation.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I'm actually pretty happy with them too.
It's cute though. I like it. It's very cute. I kind of wrote Fido off, but like I could see putting this on my team.
Okay, very cool. Speaking of dogs,
Yeah, I see the next one is another puppy boy. We have Mastiff as a dark type.
it is.
I like this guy. He's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I like the poof of hair on the head, and I like the expression too.
Yeah, it's quite good. I like it too.
It's like kind of growling, but also not sure of itself.
Yeah. It's mischievous, which is I guess where its name comes from.
Yeah, Mabostiff, if that's how you say it.
I don't know. Mabostiff, I don't know.
Yeah. This is interesting how many dogs we have. Oh wait, is it a trio? Not quite.
Not quite, but I mean maybe. I mean there are 3.
There are 3 dogs right in a row. The typings don't quite all correlate like the starter triangle does. But that's cool. Yeah, Mabostiff, I like it. I'm trying to figure out if this is another gender difference or if they're just different forms where it's black versus white.
This I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll be interested to see. Houndstone is the evolution.
Indeed.
Now, I am very curious to hear your thoughts on this because I know you really like Grievard and ghost types in general.
You are correct on that front. So, as I was mentioning to Gecko not a week ago, I have really been craving a ghost type Pokemon Okay, that isn't a lowland Marowak. That is skeletal. So when I saw this, I was actually quite happy with it. I think that it is not what I was expecting it to evolve into, but one that I will take.
Yeah, I really like it.
I'm content with it very much.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear that. I also really like the tombstone on its head. I think that's very cool.
Me too. I think that's what ties it the most together, personally.
Yeah, this is really solid. I can definitely see you using this on your team.
Thank you. I will take that compliment.
The next one is totally different than the dogs.
Yes.
Little. Oh, but it's a bird. I wouldn't have gotten that from the first stage necessarily.
Neither did I. In fact, I think I might have thought it was a cuttlefish or an octopus or something like that.
Yeah, it does look like that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the first stage.
Mhm.
I don't want to write it off immediately because I tend to just immediately have adverse reactions to any of the like frilly cutesy ones.
Mhm.
It's not
same.
a bad design. I'm not sure that is really my cup of tea.
Sure.
But Espartha is very interesting. I
Mhm.
really appreciate having a psychic type that, well, one is not just like purple or pink like they usually are.
Right.
And then also like it is kind of just a bird. Like I appreciate when it's not too on the nose, I guess, that it's psychic.
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I'm curious about what its theming is because it seems to be Cleopatra related with its hairdo and name, I suppose, with the but I'm curious about that. But I could see myself using an Espartha on my team. I don't think I will, but I am slightly tempted.
I feel like this one's animations could be very cool, depending like what it does with its wings when it attacks.
Okay. I am so curious to hear about your opinion on the next line.
Okay, and this one is cut. I haven't looked at the next rose evolution yet. So Finn is in. We finally get a dolphin. Finally. Why did it take 9 generations?
Yeah, I don't quite know.
That's wild. But okay, Finn is in is here. It's adorable. I love this right off the bat. Oh, okay. What the fuck? What is this?
This is Palafin. From what I can tell, this appears to be a superhero Pokemon. Of some sort.
This is not at all what I was expecting when I saw Finizen.
Me neither.
I don't know. I'm like speechless at this one.
So I will add a little bit of information here.
Okay.
Actually, do you mind if I reveal something about how to use this Pokemon?
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm very curious.
Okay. So from what I can tell, Palafin seems to be a Pokemon that appears. It's almost like the secret identity of Finizen. And I don't know if it's an alternate form or if it's straight up an evolution. But it only appears once the Pokemon in its regular form returns from battle. So once you use a move like Flip Turn or U-Turn, then it changes form.
Interesting.
Which I think is actually interesting. And it has a monstrous attack stat. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, no, that extra info adds a lot to it. Because now I kind of like the personality of it. Like, even though the design is kind of wacky, a superhero that can like switch identities or forms is very fun.
But I will say, I think that this might be my least favorite design in the whole generation. I don't
blame you. It's like, I had a visceral reaction to it when I saw it. I have to laugh at designs like this because I have to think about the fact that there's a whole process of designing Pokemon and then like reviewing it and deciding which design should make it into the game. And when stuff like this goes through, I'm like, I want to be in that meeting where someone's like, yeah, this has got to be in the game. Put this in there.
Not only one person, but this is a probably committee-wide decision that says this is it, folks. Yeah. We did it.
Yes, it's so funny to me. And not to shit on the designers at all. Like, I respect designers a lot, but like, it's just so funny to me to think about.
It's fascinating.
Okay, Gimme Ghoul. So this one I surprisingly really like because when I first saw it in Pokemon Go, like, because I think it appeared there like a day or two before the trailer came out, I wasn't a fan of the design, but that's because I thought it was a bug because I saw the antenna and I'm like, that's really weird looking. But now knowing that it's more like a little ghosty gremlin guy that carries a coin around, it's really endeared me to it. I like Gimmick a lot. I didn't know it would have an evolution. The evolution is wearing a belt, I think.
I think the chest turns into a belt.
Oh.
Entirely made up of coins. If I recall correctly, Gimmighoul evolves into, I believe this is called Goldango, by means of collecting coins in kind of the same way that you would collect the wisps in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So you're collecting coins in this game.
Okay. Well, Surfer is not the direction I expected this to go at all.
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah, this one's not for me, but I appreciate the attempt and the creativity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to know the lore of why a mimic chest evolves into a surfer.
Yeah. Now we get to the one that I have been waiting to see for so long, because it's like it's been in so many trailers and we knew it was a Pokemon, but I wanted to know like which parts of the car were actually a Pokemon.
Right.
So steel poison type, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually really psyched about that. I think that's a very cool combination.
It is a really cool combo. And I always wondered if they made a steel poison, like how they would execute it. Yeah, this is really cool. It's actually weirdly cute, which is strange because it's a car engine, but like there's something really cute to me about it.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like a Pokemon to me, and for some reason, and I can't quite figure out what makes that distinction. I look at a Pokemon like Magnemite, and I think, at least the orb part of it feels like a natural Pokemon, even though it feels man-made to me. This I could also just see existing in the world for some reason. I don't know why.
Revavroom, also
Revavroom.
very cool. Revavroom. Yes, you're right. I like it. The names, man, they are good.
Yeah.
So this one is very interesting because the sprite version of it makes it look like it has its own wheels.
Yeah, it seems to be that way.
Yeah. So now I'm even more curious which parts of the car are actually the car, if this thing has wheels of its own.
I kind of hope that the evolution method for this one is something more human interference wise.
Oh, there's a pre-evo for Bellybolt.
I was
kind of not expecting that. I mean, I guess it makes sense since it's a frog, but just pure.
Is it a frog though?
Well, okay, that's a good point. It's not really. Yeah, I mean, it's a light bulb with a face.
It is indeed.
That sure is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on this line. We've talked about this one a bit, but to me, the I guess real eyes on Bellybolt don't look enough like real eyes for me to be able to see the real face. Like I still just see the frog eyes, even though I know that they're not real.
Right.
But
I wish that I could do that.
Yeah. You cannot unsee them. This one, it just makes me think of basilisks from Dark Souls. And that's also a case of me like still thinking of the large eyes as the real one because that's funnier to me.
Which I didn't know were not the real eyes until you told me that they weren't, and I realized in horror that you were right.
Yeah, well, they're so hidden. Like, I didn't know until someone told me either. But, so it's interesting because this gen, we have multiple Pokemon that remind me of things from other games. It feels like they took inspiration from other places.
Right.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just interesting. Okay, next we have Satotl. He's so cute.
Satotl is definitely one of the cute ones.
This is adorable. I actually wasn't sure if Satitan would have another evolution or a pre-evolution or anything. It looked like a standalone. But I am here for Satotl. This is adorable.
I originally thought I was going to put Satitan on my team, but there was another ice type later on that I will probably put on my team instead. But you will see.
The next row starts off with Tinkatink. The name is very cute. Very steel type, bro. This thing's gonna be fucking insane as long as the stats are good.
Yeah.
Like that typing is cracked.
I know that typing is disgusting.
Yeah.
If Klefki can get by with that just fine, then
True.
I can't imagine what this thing can do.
True. Very good point. And then the rest are Tinkatuff and Tinkaton. The names are fun. Yeah, this is another one. Okay, like especially the last evolution, the I guess hair, like it kind of has a hairdo, is usually
Hmm.
not really my aesthetic for Pokemon. It makes it look very human.
Hmm.
But I actually really love the idea of like little pink gal or thing has giant hammer. Like that is funny to
Yeah,
me. I love that.
that's yeah, very very Amy Rose from Sonic.
Yeah, yeah, it has those same vibes. I'm not super into the first two evolutions, but I actually kind of like Tinkaton.
I am in a very similar boat.
Dondozo,
I think
big
that's a
fish.
standalone. Big
Yeah,
Fish.
seems like it. I feel like this is going to be one of those fish Pokemon that like kind of just gets overlooked because there are a million water types, and why would you use the random fish?
That's true, probably. But this is Pokemon that I'm actually considering putting on my team, so I want to hopefully give it a little bit of time to shine if I do decide to do that.
Solid. Yeah, I really like the design. I like that it's not, it's not really a generic fish. It is very distinct from other fish Pokemon that we've had
Right.
before.
I have to, I can't help but compare it to Whiscash, which is the original catfish Pokemon,
Yeah.
which I do feel looks more like a Pokemon in terms of a design philosophy, but I will say that I kind of like Dondozo better.
I'm very curious to see what like abilities and stats this thing has, because that can definitely change the viability of a Pokemon too. Relor. Oh, we get a dung beetle Pokemon. Very
Yeah.
interesting. This is always an interesting experience because I have designed or come up with concepts for a dung beetle Pokemon for my own region before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one, it's kind of hard to make out like the face and the features on it from this shot.
Right.
But the evolution is awesome. Like I love this.
Yeah, the Scarab is quite cool. I think it's called Rascub, which is just an anagram of
Rascal.
Scarab, but I think.
Oh, okay. I fucking love this.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious about what type did you make your dung beetle Pokemon?
I can't remember because I think that was one of the ideas I scrapped. Like I was gonna
Oh,
make
okay.
one and I never ended up making it or designing it.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I don't know what I would have made it. I guess like bug poison makes sense.
Sure, but very different from this is I guess the
Yeah,
point that I'm
oh,
trying to
very
make.
different. Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Oh, I might put this on my team. I love this.
Awesome. I would be psyched to see that.
um, the next one is something. Bramblin is it's a grass ghost type. Okay, so that explains a little bit of why it exists because I'm like, there's no like features. It can't be alive, but it's a
Right.
ghost.
Yeah,
Um,
perhaps the angle. I don't know. I can't quite see if it has eyes or anything like that, but it seems to just be like a tumbleweed spirit of some sort.
yeah, and even the evolution, like they're kind of curled to look like eyes, but
Hmm.
I'm not quite seeing a face in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. These are kind of uncreative to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Trevenant
That's
is one
fine.
of my favorite ghost types ever, and so this is kind of
Mhm.
just like a downgrade.
I think they introduced two very good grass ghost types in that generation,
Yeah, they did.
in Gorgeist and Trevenant. At the very least, the next line does have a unique typing.
Okay,
Whether you
cool.
like it or not, that's another story.
I guess we'll find out. We have Capsicid. I can't quite tell yet what it's supposed to be. It's just a little green dude, but it is pretty cute. Oh, we finally get the pepper Pokemon that every Fakemon artist ever
Indeed.
has drawn.
Yeah, it is a very recurring theme amongst Fakemon artists.
um,
Yes.
yes. It's very hard not to compare it to art I've seen because this concept has been done 100 times over in the community.
Hmm.
And there are Fakemon I've seen that I like a lot more than what they did here.
Yeah.
But I respect that they did it and they actually made a grass fire type. The name, though, is very interesting because we had a superhero Pokemon earlier. So having also a Scovillain in here
Oh,
is a very fun. I'm wondering if they're going to have any connection to each other.
that is a very interesting idea. And it's funny because, water is super effective against fire, but not very effective against grass. So
Yeah.
that is
Uh,
very interesting.
yeah, I am intrigued now by this Pokemon. This
Hmm.
is one that I could see growing on me. Like there are some Pokemon where
Same.
at first I'm lukewarm on the design, but over time I really appreciate them. I could see that happening with this Pokemon.
That is exactly how I feel, which is why I am going to put it on my team.
Nice.
And that is exactly what happened to me with Dracovish last generation. So I'm hoping that this is my new silly boy.
Got to have some silly boys on the team.
Absolutely.
Okay, at first I read the name as Flamingo, and I'm like, that they can't do that. Like that can't be right. Don't have another seal situation. Flamigo is fun though. That is fun. I like it.
Mhm.
The design is interesting because it kind of just looks like a yard flamingo.
It does. It just kind of looks like an inflatable pool toy.
Yeah, like the little bunches around its neck make it look like a balloon or something. I like the typing. I mean, we have Halucha, but I think it would be interesting to get a bird that is. It's
And
just a bird that
Galazapdos.
is fighting type. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yes, I also like fighting flying. I think it's a very cool type, and I think that's exactly what type I would want for this Pokemon.
All right, now we have Glimmet. All right, Poison Rock. So that's a cool typing.
It is. I think we've only seen it on Nihiligo so far.
Yeah, which I won't get into that, but I feel like that typing.
Yeah, let's not open that can. Let's not open that can of worms. Yeah.
I am having trouble like figuring out what this is.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either.
I think the yellow dots are eyes. I would assume.
I believe so.
Which is cute. I love dot eyes on things. It looks very cute. And then the evolution it goes a very interesting direction because it almost looks like a plant to me.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I'm curious if it's maybe a fossil flower or something, but
could be.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know why. There's something about these I really like. It's probably partly the color scheme. I like the dark blues and purples.
It is quite beautiful.
Yeah, this one's cool. Charcadet. Okay, I did not expect these to have a pre-evolution. I mean, I don't feel that they really need one, but
Sure.
It's not like offensive that they do. Like it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I like Charcadet's design. Just I think it's kind of simple. I actually kind of like it better than I like Armor Rouge or Ceruledge, to be quite frank. However, I don't think that it's a necessary Pokemon. It's just something to tie the opposing forces together.
Yeah. Okay, next we have Tandemaus. Oh, so there's two of them together as one Pokemon. It looks like that's how it works.
Correct.
And it evolves into Mousehold, where there's even more of them.
Yep.
It's a whole family. I have like a lot of thoughts on Pokemon that are multiple Pokemon considered
do tell.
thing. Well, I just think it doesn't make any sense. And like you go to examples like from the last gen we had Phalanx, where it's like, okay, so like are they literally connected? But we see in their animation that they're not. So like if one of them is alone, is it a different Pokemon? Like it doesn't really make sense.
Sure.
So I'm not super on board with the idea from the start, but I feel like these are cute enough, and I feel like, you know, whatever lore there is or the dex entries are going to be adorable enough that I really like them.
Yeah, with regards to these two, I don't know how I quite feel about them. It gives me Minccino vibes in terms of appearance. It gives me Plusle and Minun vibes in terms of being just a pair of mice of sorts. Although I guess those two are rabbits. But it's interesting. I don't quite know if I can say anything more about them because they're just kind of normal type rodents.
Yeah.
Who multiply at the rate that rodents do. So I don't know.
They do look like dolls, though. Like, it looks like they have a stitch texture.
Exactly. I was going to make that comment next. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cute. I can't really hate these. It's a little family. Like, they've got little ones with them. It's super cute.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oh, what the fuck are you? Shroodle?
It is a poison mouse of sorts.
I can't figure out where the head is. Is that its eye, the big green thing?
Yes, I believe so.
I cannot tell what this is. Like, even knowing that's what it is, my brain can't see it as a creature.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I can't either.
That one's a no from me, champ. Okay, we've seen Wiglet, which I find very cute. I like Wiglet a lot. But Wugtrio is the evolution.
Indeed.
I find it very interesting that it's not white anymore. Like, I expected that to continue through the line.
Yeah, I did too, but they seemingly inversed the colors where the nose became the nose color became the body color and vice versa.
Yeah. It has the same kind of like logistical issue for me, not just of like the three heads, but also like it's in a rock. So like, is that part of the body? Because like that happened with Binacle too, where I'm like, Is there always
Right.
a rock there, or is it just the little stalks that are Pokemon?
I
Yeah.
do like Wugtrio. I like its name a lot. I
Hmm.
like that it's kind of asymmetrical.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
appreciate
Wugtrio's fun
that.
for me.
More asymmetry, please. Okay, Toad School. Oh, so this is like Wiglet in the sense that it's a totally separate name, even though it looks similar to a Kanto Pokemon.
Indeed.
I dig this a lot. The typing
Hmm.
is really interesting because it's not actually a jellyfish anymore. It's a
Yeah,
fungi, which is cool.
right.
Um, I really like Toadstool.
Yeah,
I
Toadstool's pretty
love
cool.
this design. I love the color scheme.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind this.
Cool. I'm glad to hear it. I am a fan of Toadstool as well.
Now I'll have to assess what grass type I'm going to use, or maybe I'll use multiple. I
Mm,
guess we'll find out.
yeah. Ooh.
But yeah, I'm super into this. Oh, this is a friend. Look at this guy. I
I
love
see him.
this. Yeah. I love the little tiny eyes on the front of its face. That's so funny to me.
Yeah, it's it's silly in a good way, I think.
Yes,
I don't
like
know that
the
I could see myself using it, but I appreciate that there's an earthworm Pokemon, and I appreciate he looks very silly.
yeah. Well, and it kind of has like futuristic vibes with the steel collar that kind of has like glowing parts to it.
Hmm.
So it fits the aesthetic of the game and is also just a fun design in general. So
Sure.
after Earthworm, we have Bombardier, another very punny name. Oh, it's
Hmm.
dark type, dark flying.
Apparently, which I
Interesting.
actually entirely forgot about. I thought that it was pure flying.
Yeah. I'm very curious what this thing does because conceptually with the name and the design, it seems akin to Betelgeuse from Monster Hunter, where it's just gonna drop shit on you from the sky.
Yeah, good, good,
Um,
good comparison there. Yeah.
yeah. There have been multiple Monster Hunter esque things in here. Like Wiglet very much reminds me of Kazu, even though it's a
Oh
water type.
yes. Oh yes.
I think the official Monster Hunter Twitter actually made that meme themselves when it was
Really?
revealed.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
that's
pretty
fantastic.
sure. Um, but yeah, so this I really dig the concept if that's the concept that they're gonna go with. Okay, Veluza. Oh, this is cool. It's another
I'm,
psychic type.
it is. Yeah.
I am digging the psychic types from this generation. They're very unique.
They are. I will definitely agree with that. I like Veluza. I just can't quite tell how it works because it looks like in its sprite, it looks like its body's closed, but in the
Oh,
model, it almost looks like it's opened. I can't. I don't know.
yeah. That is interesting. Maybe this is like the attack animation. Like when it attacks, it kind of like opens up or something.
Yeah, that's probably right.
I really, really like this design. Tatsugiri. Oh my goodness. It's a water dragon.
Hmm.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I'm in love with this.
Awesome.
This looks like it looks like the Bubble Bobble dragons.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. It kind of does.
Yeah, like in the little form there where it has legs, it looks like the Bubble Bobble dragon.
That's cool. That's a good shout out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in love with this immediately. What are your feelings on Tatsugiri?
um, I need to know more about it. I think it has some sort of relationship with Dondozo, the catfish Pokemon from earlier. I don't
Oh,
quite know what it is. I like that it's just like a sushi imitation
yeah.
Pokemon. Um, yeah, I think it's a cute little Pokemon.
Ooh, okay. We're getting into more reptile territory, which is like
Uh,
insane to me how many reptiles we've got in this gen. Like it's crazy. Okay, Arbolovia. Oh, is this the ice type you were talking about before?
this is the ice type I was talking about before.
Yeah, I can see why. So Arbolovia, Arctibax, and Baxcalibur. That's such a sick name.
It is indeed.
Oh, these guys are really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. I believe these are the pseudos of the region,
Oh,
which
hell yeah.
is not too surprising.
Yeah, so the first stage I'm not like as sold on. It kind of looks like a bootleg Yoshi or something.
Yeah, it does look like a bootleg Yoshi.
But Arctibax and Baxcalibur are so cool. I love
I
these.
agree exactly. I love both of those two a lot.
Annihilate. Oh, this is a
Yes.
wild design.
Well, you've got a primate evolution.
Oh, it's an evolution.
I believe so.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, it's fighting Ghost. Okay. I didn't look at the type right away. I thought it was more ice, but no, this is super cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Annihilate.
I really love when fur, well, it's like kind of fur, but it has like wisps coming off of it as if it's
Yeah,
not like actual fur. I love that aesthetic.
very like ethereal.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about this one as a ghost type?
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Good.
I don't know the means by which Primate evolves into Annihilate, and I need to know the lore, I guess, behind that. But this feels spectral enough for my liking to be a ghost type,
Hmm.
unlike, say, Skeledirge, which just feels a little bit like I could see Skeledirge being dark or dragon or maybe even fairy before I could see it being a ghost type personally.
Sure. Ooh, Clodsire. Yeah, I have seen this one. I did get spoiled on this one, but this
Mm.
also is instantly one of my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. It is
It's a
such a
friend, all
friend.
right.
Yes, it's such a friend. I think because to me, it amplifies everything I already liked about Quagsire. It is just so like derpy and chunky, and that big smile is just, you have to love it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we are getting some Dunsparce love? I did not expect
Apparently,
this. Dunsparce. Is it an evolution?
I believe it is.
Kind of just the same thing, but it has one more body segment.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's just segmented
Yeah.
and
I
has a
don't know.
drill on it.
Oh, yeah, true. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, I'm not the wildest fan. I appreciate some good love for some old folk, especially the less relevant ones like Dunsparce.
Hmm.
No offense, Dunsparce. I'm a huge fan of your work, but um, I I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more interesting than this.
Yeah. It almost kind of feels like more of an insult to like, yeah, we'll give you an evolution, but you're kind of just the same thing again.
Yeah.
Okay, we've seen Fira Giraffe, or however you're supposed to say it.
Right.
King Gambit. Oh, this is
Mhm.
an interesting one. So is this looks like a standalone?
I believe it is actually a Bisharp evolution.
Oh, okay. I could see that. Oh, because it's the king. It's the king piece. This one, it's. I feel similarly about it to the whole Bisharp line, where it's not really my cup of tea. It's not the type of Pokemon I use, but I really appreciate its design and its existence.
I don't know how I quite feel about King Gambit, in that mostly, well, my relationship with Pokemon with facial hair, barring Alakazam and Kadabra.
Same.
So, yeah. So this is just a bit. Oh, and I guess Samurott doesn't bother me either. So, and I guess this is a similar concept where it's a rough and tumble scraggly samurai. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in King Gambit, but I'm actually most interested in how this impacts Bisharp because now it can use Emulite, which is
Oh,
crazy.
true. Yeah, that's wild. As long as a Violet exists, you almost like can't make evolutions for really defensive Pokemon because then you'll have a
Exactly.
merciless situation.
Shockle evolution,
And shop.
please.
No, we cannot do that. That cannot exist.
No, I know.
Do you know how terrifying that would be?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay, with the next one, I have no idea what the fuck I am looking at. What is
Yeah, I
this?
this is it's a deer of some sort. I can't quite I don't even remember which part of it is its head. But I
I
think it has like a bowl or cauldron around its antlers or something.
okay, so oh, that is what it is. Because I'm like, it looks like there's some big bowl or something.
This Pokemon amongst the next three are a group together. They're I think legendaries or
Oh,
not legendaries, but roaming kind of like the
okay.
tornadoes.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try to withhold judgment because I can't see the whole thing and I can't see it very clearly. It's right off the bat, it's weird. Like it just looks really dumb, but I will
Yeah.
try to withhold judgment. Okay, the next one, this fish. This is really cool.
Mhm.
I really love the eyes. Like
Mhm.
it's how it has like that symbol around it.
Yeah.
And then it looks like the whole body is actually like made of fire. I like that a lot. Especially, I really appreciate having a fish that isn't water type. And then the third in this trio is a dark ice type. Again, we don't see the whole body. It's I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, I do too.
The fangs are just like a little bit too long for me. I
Mhm,
like how they look, but they're a little
mhm.
too long. They look goofy.
I think this is maybe more what I wanted to see at the time anyway from like a Alolan Meowth evolution. Not that that one bothers me too much now, but yeah, I feel like the coloration lends itself well to Alolan Meowth.
I do like it. Like I don't hate it. It's just there are a couple things where I'm like, I kind of like need to see this in the game to
Sure.
form my full opinion on it. This next one looks wild. Oh, is this another one of them too? It's dark grass.
Yeah, it's a quartet. Yeah,
Oh, this is crazy.
yeah. This is like Eldritch.
Yeah, yeah, that is what it looks like. Like I like it a lot. So we have the past and present like forms of Donphan. Oh, ground fighting is its typing. That's very cool.
Mm,
I think that
yeah, I've been
that
waiting for a
suits
ground
it very
fighting type
well.
for a while.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I expected the other Donphan to be the next one. Oh, but it looks like okay, maybe we're getting all the past versions first and then the future ones. Because this looks like it's also like a past form of
Mm,
Larvesta or Volcarona. Or I guess Volcarona, it looks like. It's a bug fighting type. I definitely didn't expect that. I do like the design. I like the. I guess it's the wings. They don't really look like wings anymore, but just the way that they're so like big and sharp coming out of its back.
yeah, I'm a very big fan of this Volcarona design. I don't remember quite what species it is, but I think it is based on some species of caterpillar that has thorns on its back in a similar way to the way that its wings are folded. But I don't know. I don't know. The bug fighting definitely took me by surprise, but I am a big fan of the design.
I am all for more quadrupedal fighting types. I think that's a cool
Mhm.
combination. Brute Bonnet. We have another grass dark type.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
Among Us went sicko mode with this one. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm done with your shit. I'm done being your stallman. I'm gonna fuck shit.
yeah. Which I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it is not something I ever would have expected for Among Us, but
Right.
I like it. I was also not expecting this for Jigglypuff.
Right.
Screamtail. I like that the feet have like toes now. It looks more like an
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
And then
I actually
like
really expected it to be dragon type or something like that for some reason.
yeah, I could see that too, especially with the tail thing on its head.
Right.
But okay, Flutter Mane is the next one. Um yeah, so interesting to give Mischievous a form. Like it's another, kind of overlooked Gen 2 Pokemon that probably
Right.
needed more relevance. But the design is like mostly the same, so I'm not really
I
feeling the design.
yeah, I think it's quite similar to
Oh my, what do we have next? Sandy Shocks. What the fuck?
yeah, I don't quite know with this one. I like it. I think
Okay,
I just don't know.
why is the one on the right posed for a booty shot? Why did they pose it like that? It's it's like looking back over its magnet legs. Like what the fuck? I don't hate this weirdly. Like I kind of actually like it, but I
Mhm.
just it is so not what I expected for a Magnemite form or
Yeah,
Magneton
I agree.
form.
Yeah, if anything, I would have expected it to be made of stone, especially since it seems to be, prehistoric in some way.
Yeah, Roaring Moon. Oh, this is sick. What the
Yeah, I thought
hell?
you might like this one.
They just made a Digimon. Yeah, this is super cool. Of course I would like this one.
Of course.
Iron Moth. So fire and poison. Oh, that's cool. I do like this design, even though I have a feeling I'm not going to be super into the future ones because again, like robots and geometric designs aren't usually my thing. I really
Sure.
like
Yeah,
how the wings look here.
I do too. And I totally agree with that sentiment. I think I like the designs on their own, not necessarily as Pokemon, but just as robots.
Iron Valiant, Fighting and Fairy. Ooh, this is crazy. Definitely like a super upgrade from Gardevoir and Gallade. Not
Yeah.
to disparage them at all, but it just like feels like they went Super Saiyan in this form.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really like how they combined the two. Like there are elements of Gallade in there and elements of Gardevoir in there. Then we have Iron Hands. Oh, Hariyama. So not all of them have both a past and a future form.
No. In fact, most of
Interesting.
them don't.
Fighting and electric. Oh, that's a really cool route to go for making Hariyama a robot.
Yeah. I agree. I just think it's weird that they also introduced, another electric fighting in Palmot in this generation.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little redundant. Oh my gosh, we have some Delibird love. This is the last Pokemon I expected to get anything else.
Yeah.
This is fun. The concept makes me think of, yeah, like it's almost like a toy itself, and then it has like a
Yeah.
little, like, I guess, bundle with it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I'm curious if this makes Delibird any more relevant.
I like this. I like this Iron Penguin in some regards. In some regards, I don't really understand it, but yeah, I feel like I could say that for all of them.
Uh-huh.
But I will say I still like it better than Ice Cube.
Same. Iron Jugulis.
Hmm.
Um, this one mostly looks the same. It kind of was just like make the same design, but it's metal instead.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't feel super strongly about it. Iron Thorns. We get a Tyranitar form. This makes me very happy. I mentioned this briefly in something else we were talking about, but I was like, a future form for Tyranitar would make so much sense because Mecha Godzilla is
Yeah.
already a thing.
Exactly. And I feel that, yeah, I think that like they wanted to do that with Duraludon, but I don't think it quite
Mm,
got there. I feel like this is the the exact thing that they needed. And
yeah,
this is, I think, personally my favorite of these forms.
it's very cool. The
Yeah,
glowing green bits just really bring everything together.
I agree.
Now we have some Paldean forms. We've already seen Wooper. Paldean Tauros. I did very briefly get spoiled on this. I tried to look away, but I did know this existed. It is pure
Mhm.
fighting type though, which is very cool. Again, I'm all for fighting type quadrupeds. I think we need more of them.
Well, your wish is granted.
Yes, in multiple Pokemon here. Oh, but it looks like it has different forms. I guess
Yeah, that's
there's
what I meant. Sorry.
yeah, because there's even more of them. So
Yeah.
it has a fire form and a water form. So I'm assuming it's kind of similar to what they did with Urshifu, where it has like different fighting styles, is what it looks like.
I assume so. It seems
Yeah,
like their horn formation is also very different. I assume they're probably
yeah.
each based on different forms of bovine creatures. Like, maybe
Mm.
the fighting water one is a water buffalo.
Oh, sure, that makes sense. DLC will include Paradox Suicune for the past, Paradox Virizion future, and a third legendary. Interesting.
Hmm.
I'm very curious if that third legendary is lizard like at all, or if it's going to be
I'm
something
curious
totally
too.
different. Yeah.
I'm curious as well.
Okay. Well, that's quite a dex. I was curious how many that we were going to get, but um, very cool. There are some that I am really digging and excited to use. There are some that I, need to see to really form a full opinion on. But overall, I really like what we get this gen.
Awesome. I'm very happy to hear it. Yeah, I'm quite excited about this game, and I'm gonna try not to compare it to games of Pokemon past. I'm gonna try to
Mm.
just appreciate it for what it is, which I just try to do with games in general these days because I just have a hard time when I compare it to other things. So honestly, just in a vacuum, I think I like a lot of these Pokemon.
Yeah, same. They're very solid.